This is not about politics. This is about life and death. Here's a guy who's a husband of almost 25 years and a parent of 7 wonderful kids who will actually sit in front of you and say, you know what, I've made mistakes in my life. The question is not whether I've ever made a mistake. The question is, what do we do with the mistakes that we've made? What do we learn from them, and what do we do with our lives after? This is why I say in my life, you know, God gave me a wake-up call. Thank God it happened when it did. Thank God I learned the lesson that I was supposed to learn from that. You know, I don't think people who haven't been through the experience understand what it feels like to go home after you've gone through this very humbling experience and sit down with your best friend, with your wife, and say, you know, I'm really sorry, I made a mistake. You know, I will change my direction. I will do things differently as we go forward. And then to not only do that, but then take that forward and one day have to sit down with your kids, which I've had to do, and say to my kids, you know what, thank you for loving me as your dad. But the reality is I'm a human being just like anybody else. And I want to share with you some things that I've done in my life that I don't want to see you repeat in your life. And I want to explain to you why. Because these are issues that not only is it a matter of right and wrong, but it could be a matter of life and death. And not just yours. People that you would never intend to harm and you would never want to harm and you'd never forgive yourself if you ever did harm. Not everything we've done in our lives is success. We have experienced success and failure. If you haven't experienced success and failure, then how will you ever know how to explain to somebody else what it is that we need to do and why? Because if you don't know what it feels like to be on both sides of that equation, then how can you possibly express to someone how it is that you have the wisdom, you have the understanding to provide a vision for a better Minnesota? You bring up the fact that people are whispering things about others, you know, taking votes out of context, playing the classic political games that have existed since this country was founded. You know, it's very unfortunate because I think we've evolved as a society, we've evolved as a people to the point where we're tired of that stuff. We still have people who are political professionals that have been doing this for decades that believe the only way that you can succeed in a political campaign is by absolutely destroying the perception of someone's character and their integrity and who they are. That's unfortunate from my perspective. I don't agree with it. I don't believe in it.